As a nation that traces its roots through Gothic, Roman, Moorish, and Christian heritage, it is no wonder that today's Spain is one of the most culturally diverse and unique nations in the world. From the iconic architecture that has weathered centuries of war and religious struggles, to the passion and skill of its artisans, the people and places of Spain make it one of the most identifiable countries in all of Europe. Some 120 miles west of Madrid lies one of the country's most beautiful cities, Salamanca. It is here that Auburn University students spend 4 weeks soaking in the Spanish way of life, learning the language, history, and culture as only a total immersion experience could provide.
I love Salamanca. Salamanca, I feel like I've seen pretty much everything in Spain now, and Salamanca is probably my favorite town in Spain.
Home to one of the oldest universities in Europe, Salamanca boasts perhaps the country's most beautiful plaza, the Plaza Mayor. Built in the mid-1700s, the plaza is the city's social hub and a central gathering point each evening for both the locals and the Auburn students. The Spanish summer program in Salamanca is Auburn's largest study abroad opportunity, with more than 100 students participating each summer. The month-long itinerary includes daily classes taught exclusively in Spanish, plus excursions to some of the most culturally robust cities and regions in Spain.
They're learning things that they normally do not learn in the classroom. Also the culture. And we take them to places like Segovia, Avila, el Escorial, el Valle de los Caídos. And many of them go to Andalusia for a 4-day excursion.
The AU program in Salamanca plays a major role in preparing students for their place in today's global economy. More than 330 million people worldwide speak Spanish as their first language, including 13% of those living in the U.S. alone. Most Auburn students in the program have had some level of Spanish instruction, but it's not until they are totally immersed that they realize their potential.
I mean, you can't truly learn how to communicate with other people that speak the language unless you immerse yourself in it. And that's what I've done. I mean, you find yourself over here in situations where you have to, ask for this, ask for that, figure out how to get directions. And I mean, in America, you might come across, someone every now and then that you can interact with as a Spanish-speaking person, but over here, it's just, constantly you're having to work at it, you're having to hone your skills.
I would say that this helps them become adults because when they come here, majority of them have never come. So it's a huge eye-opener because, before they think everything revolves around where they live or where they've been. When they come to Europe and they see how huge it is and how everything is just so old and, oh, there's something, from, the 733, AD or, the 1500s. And so then they get like a larger perspective, like out view or vision of the world by coming here. And then they have to, like I said, they have to maneuver through the town. And so it kind of helps them grow up and say, hey, I can do this. I can go to a different country. I can speak another language. I can, be on my own and not need any help.
I've always been real independent, so that hasn't been much of an adjustment for me, but it's definitely kind of a test to be somewhere, not necessarily speak the language, not really know exactly where you're going, but have to kind of sink or swim, and you got to swim, and it's definitely taught me how to, I've grown up a lot, I think, while I've been here, and learned how to take care of myself a little more and not have mom if something really happens, then you kind of fend for yourself.
Bueno, me llamo Raquel y estamos aquí en la Catedral de Sevilla, en Sevilla, España, en el sur de España, una de las catedrales más antiguas en todo el país, bien bonita.
The wide array of architectural styles greets the students in Spain. From the famous clustered arches inside Cordoba's Mezquita Catedral, to the numerous Gothic cathedrals, to the spectacular complex of palaces and gardens of the Alhambra. Unique styles greet the students at every turn. A day trip to Segovia gives students an up-close look at the impressive 2,000-year-old Roman aqueduct and the Alcazar, which was home to the region's monarchs during the Middle Ages. Students also spend a day exploring the magnificent El Escorial, an architectural masterpiece dating back to 1557, and ended with a view of the medieval walled city of Avila, the largest and best preserved fort in all of Europe. The Spain summer program also takes students on a 4-day trip to Andalusia for stops in Cordoba, Granada, and Seville. Guided tours tell the story of the country's struggle for identity through the centuries under Roman, Moorish, and finally Christian rule. It is here, in places like Sevilla, where Spanish culture comes to life. Many Auburn students have traveled to Europe before, but gain an entirely different appreciation during their time studying there.
Studying abroad is just so much different than just traveling abroad. You really do learn the culture so much more, and you really do learn the language so much more and all that I was really surprised about, because I have done so much traveling. I thought, okay, well, I'll just be in another place, but it's a totally different experience that you wouldn't get, on your own, and with the organized things, I would never know where to, necessarily go as much. It's been great because we, hit everywhere, and you really do learn, about the language and about the people and things like that from studying.
To think about how I've walked in the same places that, Napoleon, kings of France, popes from the Vatican, and it's just, that's such a cool feeling to feel like, you're a part of something of history, and that maybe one day somebody will walk back and think, they came before us too, and hopefully we can keep these sort of things up and keep visiting and keep these monuments alive, because it's such a great experience, and it's such an eye-opening experience to see something that's so old and so it was so powerful in the past, and it's still powerful today.
Studying abroad brings about a new perspective, if not a life change, for the students. Daily interaction with the friendly people of Salamanca helps forge a bond that will last for years to come, and a new appreciation of the Spanish culture is realized.
It teaches you to be more open-minded. You have to try new things, it's very hard for me, but you have to try new things and adjust yourself according to where you are, and not try and think about what you're used to doing, but just try and keep an open mind so you can learn more about the culture.
Everybody I've noticed here is just so relaxed, and in America we're just always in a hurry, and I think that we all just need to slow down and just take a break, take a siesta, and just refresh, and I think that's what we should bring back from Spain.
If there's any way to come, you gotta come. You gotta try your hardest, because you may not ever be able to come to the other side of the world. There's a whole world out there.
Although students are there only a month, the experience of their summer in Spain is one that will stay with them a lifetime.
Another thing that I think is very important is that when they get out of here, I think they have changed. They know there are other people, there are other cultures, they do things differently. They know that whatever their little world before they got here, that little world has gotten a little bigger, and I think this is extremely important.